Today we're revisiting the golden age of 70s soft rock. Tripp, viewers already know what the name of the artist is. You don't. I'm going to ask you to guess it, but I'm going to give you some clues. That's your first challenge. The second one is for both you and the viewers to see if you can name 10 of their top 15 songs on the Hot 100. They did have 10. See if you can guess every one of them. Now, spoiler alert, they only had one on the Hot 100. They had four, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, whatever it is, four on the adult contemporary chart list. All right, here are your clues, Tripp. First clue, do, scratch, moolah. Clue number two, their third album title suggests that their music was delivered straight from heaven, like a gift in the desert. And finally, without this band's name, the Earl of Sandwich would be just a guy holding a piece of meat. Can you guess the name of this group?
My first guess would be America, but that doesn't fit two of the clues because you're talking about soft rock.
Do,
Bread,
scratch, moolah.
bread.
Ed, that's it. I was going to go back to the first clue. Do, scratch, moolah. Now, Tripp and the viewers going to see if you can come up with their 10 top 15 hits. Starting with whatever one you want to start with, Tripp. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Diary.
Diary. Yes. Diary peaked at number 15 in 1972.
Lost Without Your Love.
Lost Without Your Love. That one peaked at number 9 in 1976.
And the follow up, because I love the follow up and I can't think of the name of it, so I'll move on. Everything I Own.
Everything I Own. Yeah, you know that one. I always thought it was about a personal relationship he had. It was, but it was actually a tribute to his father, which I now look at the lyrics a little bit different. But that peaked at number 5 back in 72.
Sweet Surrender.
Sweet Surrender. This is an interesting one. This one peaked at number 15. Again, it was the same year. It was 1972. Number 15 on the Hot 100. Number 1 on the adult contemporary.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to those early hits. I think the song I was thinking of, by the way, is Never Gonna Let You Go. I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong on that. I'm sitting here and it's bouncing around my head. It was the follow up. I think it was a hit in '77. And that was their last hit.
Yeah, it's not on this list.
Okay. So we're dealing with Bread, by the way. We're not dealing with David Gates.
We're not dealing with David Gates. No, just strictly the group Bread. Their first.
Okay.
Their number 1 hit was in 1970.
Never Gonna Let You Go. Never Let Her Go. Never Let Her Go.
Surprisingly, that song is not on this list. Good song.
Wow. Okay. Oh man. How many do I have?
Let's go through the list here. You've got everything I Own, Lost Without Your Love, Diary, Sweet Surrender. You got 4. You got 4 out of the 10. The very first one, I'll give you a hint. You can construct something or manufacture it. Another word, a word that, or a phrase to describe manufacturing or constructing or building, or is a slang word where you would engage in physical activity with your loved one. Rhymes with bake it. I'd
Like to make it with you? Oh,
make it
yeah.
with you. uh, I'm laughing at myself on that one. Um, the second one peaked at number 3 in 1971. Grammatically, it's a little bit weird. The very first word in the title is an infant, a young infant, often used as a
Baby, I'm gonna want you.
baby. I'm a want you. Yeah. The next one is a two-letter title, just two
If,
letters. What'd you say? If?
if.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So now we get down into, uh, again, we're going to go back to 1970. This was originally released on their first album. Then they re-recorded it, uh, and it released it again. It peaked at number 9 in 1970. It's sort of like being a little bit apathetic.
It don't matter to me.
It don't matter to me. Then there's
I have a request. Please don't sing. Please don't sing.
then there's the song. This one peaked at number 1 on the adult contemporary chart, 1972. Has to do with an instrument, very common in rock bands.
Guitar man.
The Guitar Man. I know that I wore out the grooves of that one. The very last one was inspired by David Gates watching Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Audrey Hepburn.
Aubrey?
Aubrey.
Yeah.
Peaked at number 15 in 1973. Listeners, how did you do? How many did you come up with? Please let us know it in the comments section. Let's go through the adult contemporaries, number 1. We have Baby I'm a Want You was on AC number 1. If was on AC number 1. The Guitar Man, surprisingly, was on AC number 1. And of course, I already mentioned Sweet Surrender. Tripp, you had asked earlier if this was just Brett or David Gates. We're now to the B side. He did have a couple other songs that he wrote that did appear on the Billboard charts. Do you know what those are?
Well, one of them is Popsicles and Icicles.
Yes.
That was back in the 60s and that was his first. Well, I guess the story of Bread, by the way, is that all of the musicians in the group were studio musicians out on the West Coast.
Yes.
And that was how they all met. And so that was their connection with that. But Popsicles, Icicles, Murmaids was a song that David Gates wrote. David Gates also, after he left Bread, did the theme song to Goodbye Girl. And he also had an AC song called Took the Last Train, and that was in 1978. But David Gates, and it was interesting because David Gates saved all his money that he received because he wrote songs, all his publishing, he pumped it all into a bank account. He bought a ranch in Colorado and retired. And he's at a ranch out in Colorado for the last 40 years. And that's what he's doing. He retired on all his publishing. He used that for his publishing rights. And he lives a very good life. And that's one of the reasons probably why you don't see Bread performing that often. David Gates got out of the music business in the late 1970s, early 1980s. And Bread, again, the members of Bread were studio musicians, and they worked out on the West Coast. They were part of the 70s wrecking crew.
A couple interesting covers that I came across of this work. Baby, I'm a Want You. Icicles. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, 1970s. Yeah, Isaac did a couple of songs that you would kind of like go, But Isaac was a very deep man, and he would. But the other part of it is, and this is part of the music business, Phil. Albums were somewhat treated as an afterthought in a lot of ways, And sometimes artists would just grab any song just to fill the album with. And so if there was a song, yeah, let me try and do a version of that song. And they would do a version of that song. There's an example of that. I mean, you see it all the time, but again, part of that is just album filler, because sometimes you're stuck for a song. All right, let me use this. I mean, listen, Motown was famous for that in the 1960s because everybody would record everybody else's songs. I don't know how many different versions of I Heard It Through the Grapevine there were, but I think everybody did at least one. And that was part of the competition that Barry Gordy would have with the artist. And, there were instances where you had 2 or 3 versions of the song. I mean, Ain't No Mountain High Enough was released by Marvin and Tammy, and then it was Diana Ross's first solo release that hit number 1.
There's one other note I had on the B-side here as we wrap up this episode of Trippin' Up. He wrote a song for the Monkees. It was on their debut album.
I think it was I'm Gonna Buy Me a Dog.
You know what? It's not that song, but I remember that title of the song. It was called Saturday's Child.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's a great song. Yeah.
And there you have it, this episode of Phil's Tracks. You can follow Tripp on WRHQ.com or FM 105.3. That's down in Savannah, Georgia, and WTRSradio.com. Links right down there. Links right down there. Make sure you continue to follow Tripp and continue to check out the episodes on the Phil Yell channel. Let's keep the coffee hot. You know what? Let's keep the records and the memory spinning and the conversation flowing. Thanks again for checking out this episode of Trippin' Up.